There we go. So today is going to be a webinar about being a sales manager, an admin of an account, an owner of an account who has a team of sales reps or liaisons. And I just want to kind of show you some ways that you can leverage Outfield to kind of incentivize your reps to do more, to do better, to hit their goals, and just keep motivating them. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get started. So the first page I wanted to take a look at here is the team activity page. So as you know, the team activity page in Outfield is kind of your landing page. So all of your activity that your reps are completing, whether it's check-ins, completed tasks, completed notes, logged phone calls, logged emails, that all resides here in the team activity page. So one of the ways that I wanted to talk about from a sales manager's or an admin's perspective where you can kind of give your reps some recognition that they deserve is via this like and comment button. So these like and comment buttons are great ways of establishing positive reinforcement with your team here. So, let's say Harvey Specter right here, just to give you some quick insight on my demo account here. So you don't think you're just looking at someone's random account. Today we're walking through a day in the life of Jessica Pearson. So she's a manager for my demo account, which is Suits, and her team is responsible for selling protein bars, energy drinks to gym supplement stores and wellness centers in her area. So one of her sales reps on her team is Harvey Specter. If any of you attending or participating are familiar with the show Suits, personally a big Suits enthusiast here. But Harvey is one of her main sales reps, and he's the one that's completing most of these activities here, right? As you can see, he's completing check-ins, he's completing tasks, he's logging notes on accounts. So it really looks like he's doing his due diligence on his day-to-day operations. So that's something he should be recognized for, right? So he can be recognized by Jessica via this like and comment feature. So this is a great way to really establish that positive reinforcement with your team. Even if it's not one of your best sales guys, right? Maybe one of your sales reps called out for the week and another sales rep is picking up that slack. That's a lot of work to be picking up, right? If they're putting in that hard work, they absolutely deserve to get the recognition, right? So you can leave a comment there, you can leave a compliment. That comment feature is also really great for, having feedback. So if you have any questions about that visit, if you have any concerns about that visit, maybe for an example over here, I can come down over here to this deal right here that Harvey Specter made. He sold 8 cases of protein bars for $740, and he had that proposal submitted there. That was on Wednesday, June 11th. It's been 14 days now. Now I can go in and comment, hey, why has this been in proposal submitted stage for 2 weeks? Or maybe, why is it only 8 cases? Why is it only $740? What stopped us from getting us to a 4-figure or a 5-figure deal? And you can do all this via that comment button. So it's a great place to leave feedback. If you leave a comment over here at the drop down where you get notifications in Outfield, they'll be able to see, hey, Jessica left a comment over here on my deal, and then I can go in and respond, or even if I want to go talk to her face to face and let her know what's going on. So that like and comment feature is a great way there. Moving up over here, one of the ways that you can kind of incentivize what your rep is doing, and a lot of this call is going to be revolved around just ways to incentivize the things that your reps are accomplishing, because not only will this keep them pushing to do better, but this will also really keep them motivated. I think having incentivized goals is a great way just to keep your reps happy. So one of the ways here is going to be via the filtering button. So if I click filters over here, let's say I want to look by a specific team member. Let's say we're going to look at Harvey Specter, and I want to see how many touch points he's had or how many deals he's had for the last month. So for the month of May, if he had 6 deals, which was his goal, that's when I can start incentivizing. So we can go to progress deals. I can come over here to May of 2025, and we'll go from May 1st up until the last day, May 31st. And I click let's go over here. Now I can come through. I can see that he has not set any goals here. So looks like he's definitely not going to get that incentive there. But using the filtering button, if I don't have any specific goals set up in the account, which we'll talk about a little later on in the call, I can use filtering like this to kind of monitor each one of my reps and see whether they're hitting their goals, whether they're hitting, the activity quota that they need to hit. So let's actually go ahead and move on to goals over here. So I'm going to come over here to this Performance Plus dropdown, and I'm going to click Goals and Achievements. So the first set of goals we're going to be talking about right here is team member goals. So These are going to be goals that you can set for each specific team member or just all of your reps on your team. So here's an example of some goals that we can use. The first one here is monthly check-ins. Ron Burgundy needs to get 2 check-ins completed a month. You can do calendar events. So Ron also needs to have 3 planned calendar events per month. So your goals do not only have to be set around just check-ins or maybe deals, something revenue based. Also just showing that the hustle that your reps are putting in, you can set goals around that as well. Are they leaving notes? Are they completing tasks? Are they scheduling out tasks? And are they actually completing them? Because that's something that takes a lot of diligence, and you have to be a pretty organized person to be creating tasks as well as actually completing them. So that's something that you can set a goal for and incentivize as well. So we'll kind of walk through adding a goal over here. So I'm going to click this add goal button, and I can label it whatever I would like. So let's say we're going to set up a stretch goal for our reps. So I'm part of the suits team, so they're going to be in the suits performance role, all of my reps there. You can make this an individual goal for a specific team member. So if you have senior sales guys versus some more of your entry level sales guys, you'll probably want that quota to be a little bit higher for your senior sales guys. You can have a goal for each performance role member. So whoever is in that performance role, and then you can create a combined goal. So we're going to do an individual goal for specific members. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to take my top 2 sales guys here, right? Harvey Specter is my number 1, and Donna Paulson is my number 2 saleswoman there. So we're just going to get these goals set up. This is a stretch goal right here. So we're actually going to leave it here. So I'm going to click this drop down where it says goal. These are all different ways of how you can set a goal for someone. So like I said, it's so much more versatile than just hitting check-ins or just hitting a revenue amount on a deal. You can see there's multiple things: creating the deals, closing them as revenue, hitting a certain amount, progressing them through stages. And then if I want to get more granular, I can work my way down here into the different attributes of league play, and I have different types of goals for each. So planning out a calendar event, creating a calendar event with notes. That's not very often that people set up notes. Note length bonus. If I know I want them to be really detailed in their calendar events, I can incentivize that. So there's so many little things that you can incentivize that isn't only going to make your rep happy if they're hitting their goals, but that's also going to help you. You're going to be able to leverage Outfield to the best of your abilities towards leveraging your business. And it's putting more money in your pockets, which who's complaining about that at the end of the day? I don't think anyone is, right? And then if we want to keep working our way down over here to some of these leadership goals, liking and commenting on the team activity page are great ways of showing leadership, not only from an admin side but also from a user or a sales rep side. It doesn't only have to be management, establishing that positive reinforcement with their team. It can be amongst your coworkers and amongst your peers where you're doing so. So we're going to set this goal here. This is a stretch goal, so we want them to hit this by 25%. I typically want my salespeople to be getting 20 check-ins per week, and we want them to hit 25% or more of that. So forgive me for my bad math, but that's going to be around 24, 25 check-ins. Once they complete that, they'll have their stretch goal in for the week. And once I'm all done there, I can click save goal, and now my goal has been set. So those are team member goals here. So I'm going to move on over here to account goals. So account goals are going to be for your specific accounts. So maybe your bigger accounts, maybe your accounts that are generating more revenue. You want to set specific goals on them. And these can not only be important to your reps, but very, very important to you as the business owner or the sales manager, whatever you might be. So some of the example ones we have over here on this demo account, right here, this check-in, we want to have 25 check-ins per month for these specific accounts here. So maybe that's a little on the heavier side, but let's see here, 3 check-ins per week over here for these specific accounts. So to create an account goal, I can come up here and just click add account goal. Walking through this, we'll just keep this one basic. Let's just do a check-in goal here. We're going to have it at our performance role. Make sure you always set it for the correct performance role if you have multiple. And then you can either have it for one account, or you can select as many accounts as you would like for creating that account goal. Now, back to the main point of this training or this webinar of how we can use these goals to incentivize once again. if you have one rep assigned to this big account, if they hit this goal of, hey, they need to follow up with this account 5 times per month, if they hit that and they have like deals on top of that, if they're bringing in revenue from those 5 interactions, you can incentivize that. Hey, I'll get you some lunch, I'll give you an extra hour of PTO, whatever it might be, right? Um, Also, if you have a bigger sales team and you have multiple sales reps assigned to one account, if they collectively hit that goal, that'd be a great way to incentivize it for both reps. So that's not only going to show that you're getting your revenue, but that's also going to show that your team is making a collaborative and a collective effort to hit their goals and just absolutely crush their metrics, even when they're sharing accounts. So if that is kind of in your use case there or your industry, that's another great way of kind of using the account goals over here. So coming back here, we're actually going to take a jump over to league play now. Clicking into league play, kind of as a refresher, if some of you don't use league play on your day-to-day operations in Outfield, essentially what league play is it's a game built into Outfield. And within this game, the way to win is by scoring as many points as possible. So I don't know if any of you have ever played any fantasy sports, fantasy basketball, baseball, football, but essentially how it works is you get rewarded for everything you do within Outfield. So if they complete a check-in with notes, if they fill out their forms, they'll get rewarded an X amount of points for each of those. So I just want to take kind of a dive into league play here before we talk about some of the ways to leverage it as a manager or an owner. First thing we're going to look up at is these matchups here. So your reps are going to be up against each other in these weekly matchups. We're going to click into Jessica Pearson's matchup versus Donna Paulson this week. So coming down here, first things first, you can see the score. You can see their overall win-loss record, some efficiency ratings, some of their last 6 matchups. And then we also have KPIs here. So as the manager, you can set up as many KPIs as you'd like. If there are specific points within Outfield, or if there are specific metrics that you want your sales reps to be hitting, you can set those up as KPIs, which we'll talk through in a little bit, kind of how to set those up and customize those. And then down here, we have attributes. So this is another great way of earning points within league play. We have 4 different attributes. So hustle, diligence, preparation, and leadership. That first attribute, hustle, essentially that's going to be like the how much or the how many. That's where we're putting quantity over quality. Specifically for hustle, the more check-ins they complete, the more hustle points they're going to get. And diligence is right below that, is going to be that quality over that quantity, right? So that's where we want to make sure that they're having that thorough and proper documentation when they're completing their check-ins. So with diligence, to gain points, if they're completing forms on their check-ins, if they're putting in notes on their check-ins, they're going to be rewarded diligence points there. So the hustle and diligence kind of go hand in hand right there. The third one is going to be preparation. That's going to make sure your reps are staying ahead of the game. If they're scheduling out calendar events, if they're scheduling out tasks and actually completing those, they're going to get some preparation points for those. And then the last one is going to be leadership. So leadership is kind of an aggregation of all 3. This is something that not only admins can earn points for, but also your reps can earn points for as well, because you can get rewarded for things like if you like and you comment on that team activity page for your peers and kind of give them that recognition they deserve, you're going to get leadership points for that. So also that'll just be more over time. The more you use league play, the more you crush those first 3 attributes, you're going to get more and more leadership points over time. Now, coming back here, that's how the matchup works. So now over here, I'm going to talk about standings. So standings right here is going to be your overall win-loss record, and you can select the quarter of where you want to see that win-loss record. So it looks like we're in the current quarter, Q2. I can jump back here to Q1 and kind of see who took the lead, and it looks like Harvey's been absolutely crushing it this whole year so far. And then over here is going to be leaderboard. So you can decide whether you want to use leaderboard or standings, but in my professional opinion, these are the best places where you can incentivize hitting those goals for your reps. So over here in standings, I can see It's specifically by quarter. Whoever did the best this quarter, I'm gonna go take them out to lunch. I'm gonna give them an extra few hours of PTO. I'm gonna buy them an iPad, whatever it might be. I can use the standings here for kind of some of those quarterly awards. And then over here with the leaderboard, you can filter your date range over here. So you can make this, monthly, quarterly, annually, weekly, however you want to set it up, and you can go from, as minimal rewards as I'll get you a bag of Skittles if you do well this week, all the way up to as extreme as we've had clients before, well, they'll have trips. So if you have an annual leaderboard, for example, your top sales rep, you get them an all-inclusive trip to Mexico, right? Who wouldn't want that? So this is kind of from a managerial standpoint, this is kind of your playground and kind of your creative playground to where you can set this up however you would like. Outfield is simply just a blank canvas when it comes to league play over here, and you can let your imagination run wild for how you want to award your reps and kind of how you want to structure that out. And the way to structure that out is going to be, we're going to come back over here to Performance Plus. We're going to click this drop down right here, and we're going to click Settings. So whenever we come into settings, those are going to be where we can adjust some of our league play settings in here. So I'm going to come over here to suits, which is my performance role. So I have my performance role name, my minimum cadence, and then I can have my specific team members in this role. So, maybe if you want to have your senior sales guys and maybe just your more entry level guys in separate performance roles, so they don't bump into each other on those weekly matchups, you're more than welcome to. And now scrolling down here, the first thing I want to talk about is KPIs. So in those weekly matchups, I had 2 KPIs set up, and I talked about how if you want your reps to have specific metrics for them to hit, you can set them up as KPIs. So it's as simple as checking this box right here, right? Let's say, hey, it doesn't even have to be like, you can set up KPIs for things that your reps are underperforming in as well. So, my reps aren't really setting up notes as of right now, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So I'm going to motivate them to hit those notes. I'm going to make that a KPI right here. So now whenever they go into their weekly matchup, they have full visibility to those KPIs, right? So now they're going to see, oh, I need to hit my notes. Some people are much better visual learners, right? My rep opens up his phone and now he sees that in a KPI. He's going to be actively thinking about that, and he knows that if he gets that, or if he hits those notes, he's going to get those bonus points. He's going to get rewarded, and he's going to get the big prize at the end of the day, or the end of the week, or even the end of the month. So setting up these KPIs is definitely great for your reps. But also you can adjust the amount of points that each thing is worth, or well, each goal right here is worth. So it can be in an area that's underperforming, or just an area that you personally think your team should be prioritizing. So you can look at, these are all goals for different attributes here. So our hustle goals, our diligence goals, our preparation goals, and our leadership goals, or sorry, our metrics, not really our goals there. So let's say, hey, I really want my team to start using these calendar events. So we're all going to have, visibility to what we're doing week by week. So I can come over here and say, hey, if one of my reps schedules up a calendar event, instead of that being worth 0.2 points, I'm going to make that worth 1 point. So each time they schedule out a calendar event, they're going to get more and more points, and they're going to see that whoever's planning out these calendar events is getting a lot more points and is way more ahead of the game, winning their weekly matchups, getting closer and closer to that final prize. And I can do the same thing here for tasks. Hey, tasks is a great organization tool within Outfield that my reps can use to stay organized, even if it's not account specific. If they need to log their hours by the end of the week, if they need to do payroll, whatever it might be, they can use that tasks feature. I think it's a useful feature from a managerial standpoint, so I want them to use it more. I want them to use it so bad, instead of being 0.2 points, I'm going to make it worth 3 points every single time one of my reps plans out a task. And I'm going to make it a KPI as well. So whenever they do it, they're going to be able to see that in league play and on their matchup. So these are some great examples of how you can use league play and how you can set up these KPIs and these metrics to motivate your sales team to have them do better. And inadvertently, your whole team is if one person is doing better, more than likely every single person on your team is going to do better, right? Whenever they're seeing those matchups. So that's going to be beneficial for everyone around the team. If everyone's making that collaborative, that collective effort to just be as best as possible, that's going to benefit everyone. So it's a win-win-win situation at the end of the day. So The next thing I want to talk about over here, before we jump out of league play, we do have something called a closers contest within Outfield. So essentially, what the closers contest is if you realize you're using league play a lot and it's something you don't want to have to not necessarily deal with, but if you want to have someone else handle league play, Outfield can actually do that. So what the closers contest is essentially we can monitor your league play. So let's say, hey, you give us a certain amount of money for gifts and you tell us, hey, I want to get X, Y, and Z gifts. We can monitor your league play. We can set up your performance roles, your KPIs, your metrics, and then we can create those awards and we can actually facilitate the giving of those rewards. Whether it's going to be gift cards, whether it's going to be a new tablet, whether it's going to be a Segway or a hoverboard, whether it's even going to be a cameo from celebrities or micro celebrities or whoever it might be. We can make that experience, this league play experience, as autonomous as you would like, if that's something that you desire. So we can facilitate your league play top to bottom once we figure out exactly what you want. So moving on over here, the next thing I want to talk about is tasks. So tasks are also a great way of keeping your reps accountable. The best way to do that would be assigning tasks to them. So as you can see here, we're signed in Jessica Pearson. She's the manager on this account. So we can only see her tasks. But if I come over here and I go to all of my team members, I can see that my team has a lot of overdue tasks. They're really, maybe they're just forgetting to use the task feature. And that's exactly why I just made it worth so many points over there in our league play metrics. And that's why I made it a KPI. So if you want your team to use tasks, you can just keep promoting that, make that worth more points. And then I can come over here into add task and I can assign tasks to people myself. So let's say I need to send out a quote, right? I need to send out a quote and it's for a specific account that's not assigned to me, but it's actually assigned to Lewis Litt here. So I can assign a task to different team members. So once I'm finished with this task, since I assigned it to Lewis Litt, what that's going to do is as soon as I click save there, he's going to get a notification and he's going to get an email saying, hey, you've been assigned a task in Outfield. And then he can just click into that notification, head over to his tasks and see exactly what he needs to do. So it'll keep your reps on top of their game there. So we assigned it to Lewis Litt. We're going to have it for a specific account. So this quote actually needs to be sent out for this LA Fitness right here on North Shepherd Drive. We have our due date here. Lewis, you're kind of behind. We want you to get that done by the end of the day today. So we can set that up for 5 p.m. today. And you can create as many reminders as you would like. Hey, Lewis is kind of a forgetful person. I'm going to set up 3 reminders and I'm going to have them all come through his notifications in the Outfield app. Just so, I know sometimes he looks at his email. Sometimes when he gets an email, he doesn't even look at it. He just totally disregards it. So we'll make sure this is coming directly from the source. We're going to set up these reminders 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and 30 minutes in advance, just to make sure he doesn't forget and get that quote sent out over there to that LA Fitness. And then you can attach any notes that you would like. And then once you're all done right there, you can click save. And now once I've clicked save, I can scroll down here. I can see that Lewis Litt has a task to send out that quote by 5 p.m. And now he just got those notifications saying, hey, you've been assigned a task in Outfield, and he can jump in there and get that taken care of. So great way of using tasks, just to keep your reps accountable. You can also keep your reps accountable here via the calendar. So if I come over here to my calendar page in Outfield, for those of you who don't use the calendar page too much, this is kind of just a more calendar view of monitoring your team's activity. So I see some different colors there. Those all are color coordinated with this legend at the bottom. So I can see who's doing what. Some drop-in visits, some touch points here, some notes, some tasks have been completed, as well as, from a managerial or from a manager's viewpoint, all of my gray options here or my gray buttons are going to be overdue tasks or a calendar event. So just useful for you guys to see, whoever's watching this, if you're not using that calendar page, this can be kind of an easy way of viewing what your team has overdue. So it's a great opportunity for you to kind of follow up and maybe have that conversation. But if we come up here to add event, I can actually create calendar events for specific reps. So I'm going to come over here to add more events, and it's going to take me to this full screen page over here. The first things first at the top, I can create a new event for somebody. So I can say, hey, for example, I want one of my reps to have a product demo day once a month, right? And I'm going to select I'm going to select Mike Ross to do that because I think this is going to be really useful for them. Keep in touch with all of their accounts or their client list, and just maximize revenue that you just maximize revenue opportunities for us as a company. So I'm going to create this event for Mike Ross, and it's actually going to be a product demo day. So we're gonna head over to this place. We're gonna make this place. Let's do Legend Barbell Co. So this is a gym. We're gonna do this product demo day, and we want to get it done once a month. I can create a recurring event over here. So if I want to make this monthly on the 25th, let's say I want to do this on the 25th day of every month, and I can choose when I want to do it until. So let's say, hey, we're in a trial period over here. So let's just have this going for 6 months. We're going to have this going until November 25th of this year. We're going to do a trial period, see how Mike Ross is liking it. We're going to monitor how much revenue that's bringing in for us. So I can have the start time and end time. We're going to make this event every 25th of the month from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're going to keep it a 2-hour event for Mike. Have any notes if we have any required forms in there. And now I'm going to click save. Once I click save, that's automatically going to go over to Mike Ross's calendar, and he's going to see that he needs to get that done. And I can also see it on my calendar view page here. So we had it going for 6 months. It's going to stop in November of 2025. So I can come see here at the 25th of every month, we have that product demo day, and we know that Mike Ross is responsible for that. But that just about wraps it up for our webinar today.